I was pulling in, it hit me. I don't think you can. I think kind of what you do in the classroom, I think it's more just kind of you. I think it's personality driven. I don't think it's something that you could probably teach to other people. So maybe it wouldn't be a good idea. And I kind of got upset at that. I took it as a challenge. And I said, what do you mean I can't teach this stuff? Like, sign me up. That's like, this is what I do. I teach. And so he said, full day or half day? And I said, full day. And so I signed up for an 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock, 7-hour professional development workshop to do for the peers in my district. And during the summer, and I drove away from that meeting going, oh my gosh, like, what have I done? I didn't have anything. I didn't have a workshop. I didn't have anything written down. And so I got relentless about writing down everything that I do in my class that I thought was successful. But then that wasn't good enough because that's what I do. So I had to go a step further back and kind of figure out, like, where did this idea come from? So for every idea, it's like, where did that come from? What brought me to that point? And every time I traced back, it always seemed to come back to a question. It was a kind of question that I was asking about my lessons that maybe other people weren't asking about their lessons. And so I started to be real relentless about writing down all of those questions. And that center section of Teach Like a Pirate that you read, that was kind of the original, like the cornerstone, the foundation of the system. There are 170 questions in that section under 30 different categories of hooks. And so that's the real practical, where the rubber meets the road, kind of like, this is how you come up with these ideas for your classroom kind of section. That's the part that I love when teachers come up to me to get it signed maybe at an event and they have it tabbed and highlighted and underlined and all that. That's the part that I think is probably the most used part of the book. And so I based my original workshop on those questions. But I'm kind of obsessed with coming up with ways to package material in order to make it easier to understand and to take away. I call it, when I'm working with my students, what I call it is putting handles on material to make it easier to pick up. I want to put handles on material to make it easier for students to pick up. And so I wanted to do this with the workshop too. And so I wanted to have a theme. I wanted to be able to model and demonstrate some of the techniques and hooks in my live workshop that I talked about, that I use in my classroom. Because it seemed to me, I mean, how ridiculous would it be for you to give a workshop about student engagement and creativity, and for your workshop not to be engaged and creative, right? And so I wanted to be able to dress a certain way. I wanted to be able to use like the costume hook. I wanted to be able to use the interior design hook and be able to have a certain way to like decorate my space, and all these. I wanted to have a mnemonic device that would make it easier for people to take away. And so I came up with the pirate theme. The pirate theme had several things going for it to me. First of all, I looked at the letters as an acronym, and I'm kind of an acronym freak. So I was like, well, maybe I'll make this into an acronym. And I knew that passion and enthusiasm were two of the things I really wanted to talk about. And there they were, sitting at the beginning and end of the word. And so it was a perfect fit. And then the spirit of a pirate that I talked about in the introduction. The idea that, to me, a pirate is unconventional. They're willing to reject the status quo. They're willing to sail into uncharted waters with no guarantee of success. They're kind of mavericks. They're outside of the mainstream. And I saw myself as an outside of the mainstream teacher, so that appealed to me as well. And then when you throw in the whole idea that pirates are known for having hooks, and I was talking about hooks that could draw students in almost magically, magnetically into what you're doing in the classroom, it all came together, and I fiddled around with the rest of the letters to make it all fit, and started to do that workshop. I did that workshop for years, literally years, and kind of honing the message, crafting it, getting it a little better. And then about 2011, towards the end of 2011, a publishing company came to me and said, hey, we would love to do a book based on these workshops that you're traveling around and doing. And I sat down with them, and I was shocked to find out what a traditional publishing contract looks like. I was shocked to find out what authors actually make with like the big house publishers. And it didn't make any sense to me. It was like, this was my intellectual product. I was the one that was traveling and marketing and building social media platforms and all that. And wait, I'm going to make what? And you guys are going to make how much? And it just didn't make any sense to me. And then they wanted to take, and I knew that books don't sell in bookstores anymore. That's not like where the books are sold. So just like, why do I need these people? And then they wanted to take creative control of my project. They wanted to take out some of the edgier, some of the crazier stuff that was in the book. They wanted to remove the rants against the overemphasis on standardized test scores. They said administrators won't support your book if this stuff is going to be in there. And I thought they were wrong, because I thought that administrators were upset with the overemphasis of standardized test scores as well. And then they said, hey, it's too personal. Like, you wrote about walking through the canyons with your kids in this book. You wrote about your favorite Christmas carol, for God's sake, in this book. Like, what does that have to do? What is that doing in an education book? Where are the research citations? Where's the Harvard study and all that kind of stuff, right? And that was not the book that I was looking to write. This was my story. This was my manifesto from one practicing classroom teacher to other teachers out in the field. And so I told them exactly where to go. And I formed a publishing company, and I published Teach Like a Pirate from my kitchen table, because I did want it to be my story and my, my message, and I wanted to be able to control it. And so there you go. So I hope that it's a book that's resonated with you all. And like I said, I really appreciate the fact that you guys have dived in and read it. And I would love to answer any questions you might have or take the conversation any direction you might like.
Awesome. Thanks for the background.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down.
I'm going to ask the one that I originally had asked about the
Sure.
enthusiasm
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how
yeah.
to control that.
Okay, why don't you come over here and
Yeah.
see?
No, stay there. I'll just stand behind.
You guys